The cabin of Aethelgard Air Flight 109 was a masterclass in classic aviation luxury. It wasn't just a plane, it was a flying boardroom. The walls were lined with brushed champagne gold and polished bird's eye maple. Above the center aisle, massive crystal chandeliers, specially engineered for high-altitude stability, glowed with a soft amber light that made the vintage crystal glassware on the table sparkle like fallen stars. Dr. Simone Vance sat in Suite 1A. She was dressed in a tailored, ivory-colored silk power suit that stood out against the deep navy leather of her seat. On her lap was a slim gold tablet, where she was reviewing the final quarterly reports for Aethelgard Air. Simone wasn't just a passenger. She was the newly appointed chairperson of the board of directors, traveling incognito to assess the quality of the airline's diamond service. Across the aisle sat Julian and Beatrice Thorne, a couple who defined old money arrogance. They were sipping pre-flight vintage champagne and complaining loudly about the humidity in the terminal. When the lead flight attendant, a woman named Lydia, entered the cabin, her smile was radiant as she leaned over Thorne's. "Mr. and Mrs. Thorne, it's a delight to have you back. Our chef has prepared the truffle-encrusted wagyu specifically for your palate tonight." Lydia then turned toward Simone. The smile didn't just fade, it evaporated. Her eyes raked over Simone's ivory suit and her braided hair with a sharp, jagged contempt. "We want to take a quick moment to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story." "I'm sorry," Lydia said, her voice dropping into a cold, flat tone. "The meal service of this cabin is reserved for our Founders Circle members. I have a pre-packaged snack box from the main cabin if you're hungry. Otherwise, I'll have to ask you to keep your tray table stowed." The social jury, the other 3 billionaires in the cabin, paused. They didn't look up from their financial journals, but the rustle of paper stopped. In the background, a young flight steward continued to pour water for a guest, and a young man in seat 4B sat quietly. His smartphone held at a discreet angle, capturing the interaction through the gap in his suite door. "I'm on the manifest of the diamond service," Simone said, her voice a low, steady anchor in the pressurized cabin. "I've already selected the lobster thermidor. I'd like to have it now, please." Lydia let out a short, mocking puff of air. "The manifest must be a mistake. We don't serve lobster to upgraded passengers who don't have the standing. You're lucky we didn't bump you to the back to make room for the Thorne's luggage." "Lydia!" Julian Thorne chimed in, laughing as he adjusted his silk tie. "Don't waste the good stuff. Just give her the crackers and let us enjoy the view. Some people just don't know how to act in a classic environment." Lydia nodded, her face twisted into a triumphant smirk. "You heard the gentleman. No meal for you. And if you ask again, I'll have the marshals remove you for being verbally aggressive." 2 white air marshals in obsidian-colored suits stepped out from the galley. They were large men, their presence casting a shadow over the polished maple walls. They stood behind Lydia, their eyes locked on Simone. "Is there a problem, Lydia?" the lead marshal asked, his hand resting on the edge of his blazer. "This passenger is being demanding and making the other VIPs uncomfortable." Lydia lied, gesturing toward Simone. "I want her monitored. If she speaks again, we'll restrain her for the duration of the flight." Simone Vance didn't raise her voice. She didn't even look at Lydia. She simply picked up her gold tablet and tapped the direct link icon that bypassed the plane's standard Wi-Fi. "Connect me to the ground operations center. Level 1 override," Simone said into her headset. The screen flickered and the face of the airline CEO, Marcus Thorne, no relation to the passengers, appeared. He looked confused until he saw Simone's face and the dark cabin behind her. "Dr. Vance, is everything all right?" Marcus asked, his voice echoing through the cabin speakers as Simone switched to the external audio. The social jury suddenly dropped their journals. Julian Thorne's champagne glass stopped halfway to his mouth. "Marcus," Simone said, her quiet authority filling the room like a cold front. I am currently in Suite 1A of Flight 109. Your lead attendant, Lydia, has just informed me that I am not of the standing to receive the meal service I authorized for this fleet. She also threatened me with federal marshals for requesting my manifest order dinner. Lydia's face didn't just go pale. It turned a sickly, translucent shade of gray. Dr. Vance. I am the chairperson of this airline, Lydia, Simone said, standing up. Even in the cramped quarters of the cabin, she seemed to tower over the attendant. And you just told the woman who signs your paycheck that she belongs in the back of the plane. Dr. Vance, I am so sorry. Marcus's voice boomed over the speakers. This is a catastrophic breach of protocol. Lydia, you and the entire cabin crew are relieved of duty immediately. Immediately? Lydia stammered. We're at 30,000 feet. The plane is being diverted to the nearest hub, Dulles International. Marcus shouted. You are to surrender your credentials to the marshals. Dr. Vance, I am sending a replacement crew and a legal team to meet the plane on the tarmac. This entire crew is terminated, effective 30 seconds ago. The natural realism of the fallout was instantaneous. The plane began a slow bank turn. The captain's voice came over the intercom, sounding terrified. Ladies and gentlemen, we have received a mandatory grounding and termination order from corporate. We are diverting for a crew change. Simone turned to the two white air marshals. They were standing frozen, their hands dropping from their blazers as if they had been burned. Gentlemen, Simone said, since this crew is no longer employed by Aethelgard Air, they are technically unauthorized personnel in a secure cabin. Please escort Lydia and her team to the crew rest area. They are to remain there until we land. The marshals, knowing their own jobs were on the line, didn't hesitate. They took Lydia by the arms. It wasn't the aggressive grab they had intended for Simone. It was the cold, professional removal of a liability. Wait! Julian Thorne shouted. You can't divert the plane. I have a meeting. Simone turned her gaze to Julian. Mr. Thorne, your Founder Circle membership has just been revoked for harassing a board member. When we land, you and your wife will be escorted off the property. You can find your own way to London. The massive crystal chandeliers above continued to glow, reflecting off the ivory silk of Simone's suit. The cabin was silent, the only sound being the distant hum of the engines as the plane descended toward the runway. Simone sat back down, picked up her tablet, and looked at the young man in 4B. You can stop recording now, she said with a faint, knowing smile. I think the world has seen enough for one night. As the plane touched down on the tarmac, the lights of the terminal revealed a line of black SUVs and a fresh flight crew waiting. Simone Vance walked off the plane first, her head held high, leaving behind a group of people who had learned the hard way that when you deny someone a seat at the table, you might just find that they own the entire restaurant.